Greetings, Pastor Barnabas. Welcome to Live Talk.
Thank you so very much. Greetings, Anesu.
This must be your second time being on the show, and we are really thrilled to have you here. And one of the things that is very much interesting is our area of focus today. You are an expert in that area. For those that are not very familiar with Pastor Barnabas already, like the title says, he is a pastor, he is a family builder, he's a wealth creation coach. He is also a life transformational coach. So thank you very much. We're very thrilled to have you on the show. So of late, I've been receiving a lot of questions, Pastor Barnabas, in the area of family building. So you have mentored and you've also helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of families that were having problems, different kinds of problems, and putting them together. And I've been receiving some questions from young people. And I'm sure you know that the relations between the parents can have a significant effect on how the children grow up and how their emotions will be. So one of the first questions that I've been receiving, and which has been very common amongst many people, is that how do I eliminate the thoughts of committing suicide because of what is going on between my parents? It could be infidelity, or it could be the father is abusing the mother.
Right. Thank you so very much for that profound question. And you bring out the aspect of the relationship between parents and children. Now, what we need to realize first and foremost is that unstable parents raise insecure children, right? And secondly, let me start by bringing in the three goals of parenting, all right? For one to raise a confident, effective, productive, and resourceful children, has to be effective themselves, in terms of their parenting style. So the three goals of parenting are reproducing the character of the parents into the children, reproducing the behavior of the parents into the children, and reproducing the nature of the parents into the children. Right now, if someone is in a space as a child where they are contemplating, suicide, they want to commit suicide, it means the parents who have been involved in their lives are literally operating under the spirit of death themselves. All right. The character that they have reproduced in the child is that of death. The nature, the behavior is that of death. All right. So how does one then come out of that? First and foremost, they need to discover who they really are in terms of their personal relationship with God, who they are in terms of their purpose in this life, who they are in why they are still alive. Okay, what is their purpose? And it is that bigger picture, it is that vision, it is that purpose that will help them have a sense of life, a sense of living, so that they disconnect themselves from that which is, that which is deadly, that which is non-productive, and begin to focus on that which is productive. So, the how really can be very, very difficult to come up with. Let me say that, in such a situation, number one, there is no formula, but there are principles, right? So it's very important for such a person to sit down with a professional, with a pastor or a counselor, and be able to dig deep into their situation and see the causes and the kind of environment that they are living in, and how best they can be helped to come out of that environment and have a better vision and picture of the future.
And it seems like the questions, I've organized them in such a way that they're more like follow-up questions. The second question reads, how best can I emotionally get over what is happening between my parents?
Over what my parents, you see, so that's so critical. My parents, you see, so that relationship is very, very paramount in one's growth. All right, so this person is not dealing with a friend. This person is not dealing with a teacher. This person is not dealing with a girlfriend or a pastor per se, but they are dealing with the parent. Okay, so not only are they connected to them emotionally, they are connected to their parents in every sense of it. Okay, now how do they come out of it? Now this is an emotional thing, right? And remember, when you're talking about emotions, this is intangible. It's not something that you can touch. This has to do with your soul. This has to do with your heart. And the Bible says in Proverbs 12, verse 25, that the anxiety in the heart causes depression. Anxiety in the heart. All right. So you find that the emotions are in the soul. The soul is in the blood. And that blood is what carries the life of the flesh. So the life of the flesh is in the blood. So it's in the blood where we have the soul, and in the soul we have our emotions, our mind, and the willpower. All right. So there are all these things that then come around that. One has to be empowered emotionally, what we call emotional intelligence. One has to be emotionally fit. Okay, so there are then principles and tactics and strategies that can be applied for one to be emotionally strong and be able to overcome the behavior and the challenges of their parents, as it were. So that can literally be a process of training where they are being given strategies, skills, and principles on how to be emotionally strong, emotionally fit, and then move out of that toxic environment for them to become better parents also in the future.
I just have a quick question. Does that kind of environment and being emotionally a significant effect on how they might conduct their own families when they grow up?
This is Proverbs chapter 22, verse number 6. Proverbs 22, verse 6 says, train up a child in the way they should go. When they are grown, they will not depart from it. All right? Now, is it going to have an effect over their lives when they are grown? Yes, definitely it will have. But the thing is, the effect can either be positive or negative. All right? There are some that have become better into their lives because they have said, you know what, I don't want to be like my parents. Therefore, they go for best material. They go for training. They go for best associations per se that help them to be empowered to become better in life. But the only challenge is that many can be, depending on the effect that it had on a person, they can be emotionally wounded the rest of their lives. So much that even when they are grown, they'll be saying, I don't want to be like my father. So the challenge with that is they are always reacting to what their father did. They are always reacting to what their mother did. And unfortunately, they may not have a better picture of who they want to become. So they are always reacting to who they don't want to become and not focusing on who they want to become. All right? And as a result, they may not be well equipped or well empowered, to equip and train their children in a better way. Let me give an example. Someone maybe who is born in the village, they have never driven before, they used to walk to school, and then now Barnabas is in town, he now has 5 cars, and he used to walk to school himself. And his children are born in this environment where there are cars, right? But Barnabas is always talking to his children to say, me, I used to walk. You children of nowadays, me, I used to walk. Me, I used to walk. So you find that instead of speaking to my children the language of the cars that we have, I'll be speaking to them the language of walking in an era of cars. Okay, because the environment that I grew up in still has an effect on the way I talk to my children, even when they don't know what it means to walk. Okay, so in that case, there has to really be a mind transformation. There has to be a reformation that takes place. There has to be a shift where you now focus in the now in order to create the better future. So in other words, do away with the past, forget the former things, do not consider the things of old, because the new is now happening. All right, so it will really take like extra work. All right, extra work. In Anesu is in an environment where the parents have got cars, so you are starting at a car level. I get to maybe let me give a good example. When it comes to technology, you are one of my teachers, in these things, the IT and things like that. You grow up in an environment where computers are just there. All right. At 40, that's when I'm exposed to computers. So you find that what I should have learned when I was 5 years old, I'm now learning when I'm 40 years old. That's double the work. You get it? And that also happens even when it comes to how we parent and how we raise our children. So yes, it has an effect, and sometimes it can be positive or negative depending on how you look at it.
The last two questions, I'm just going to put them together because of our time, and also because they are almost of similar nature. So the last questions read, how best can I also help my siblings to emotionally get over what is happening at home? And then the second question reads, is there anything that I can do to intervene in the situation as a child?
Beautiful. Thank you for those two questions. How can I help my siblings to get over the situation? Is there anything that I can do as a child? The question is, how old are you? Okay, how old are you? Because when you look at the 4 types of parenting styles, there is authoritarian, authoritative, uninvolved, and the permissive one, right? The uninvolved one is where children are left to raise themselves. For example, a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old child is already going to do things so that she can get food, maybe even going on the street, to ask for money so that this child can come and have food with her own siblings or his own siblings. Now, the question is, how old are you? All right. For you to help your siblings, are you married? Are you now a parent? Are you now a husband? Are you a student? Are you still in school? Or are you working? Because, emotionally speaking here, when you talk about emotions, it also involves maybe material things, food, finances, shelter. Okay. If you are in a situation where maybe you are now working, Anes is now working, he's got a well-paying job, or you are running your own business. That means you've got a house, you've got a 5-bedroom house, or you've got a cottage. You can move your siblings from that environment and come and stay with them. You are able to take care of their school needs. You are able to take care of their social needs. You are able to take care of their financial needs. All right. And that will help them heal emotionally. But if you are still a child yourself, you don't have money, you are still in school, it might be quite difficult. All right. So the issue of child there, it relates to age. How old are you? Secondly, are there any relatives around? It could be your uncles, it could be your aunties. Are there any churches that can help you? Are there any maybe godly social clubs that can help you? So all those can become your help support systems. All right. So it's the issue of relatives. It's the issue of how financially strong are you? How old are you? So those are things that can be looked into as it relates to the environment that you are living in, and the kind of, also secondly, what kind of treatment? Not is your father just mistreating your mother? And how is your mother responding to that? Are they allowing you to go out? Or they have also said you are not going out, you are not going to report to anyone? Is there any communication? Because sometimes the issue could be, my father can be mistreating my mother, but he's also open to us. He is willing to talk to us as his children. He's open to advice. He can also sometimes consult with us. So that can also help. All right. So you really have to look at it holistically and then look at the dynamics of what is happening in the environment, and that will help you come up with a solution or a formula to, help your siblings and also overcome the emotional trauma that you may be going through. Is there anything that they can do? Yes, there is. Listen to this. To every problem, there is a solution. And to every solution, there is a problem. So it's now the issue of focusing on the solution. When you look at the problem, what is the source of this problem? How is it affecting me? Therefore, what I can do is literally within what is happening. All right. I was talking to the students. I was telling them that, you see, when you go in the exam room, you'd find that the answer, every answer is within the question. Every answer to the question is within the question itself. All right. So if you look at the situation itself, you analyze the situation critically as a child, depending on your age, you find that within that situation, there's the wisdom of what you must do and how you must do it. All right. Because sometimes it might mean you've been answering back to your parents, when they fight, you also answer back, and you find that you get injured even over things that were not supposed to be injured. And it might mean now, instead of answering back or directly getting involved, you may have to withdraw, you may have to keep quiet, and you may even maybe take it in prayer if you are a Christian. Okay? Take it in prayer even if you are a Muslim. Whichever religion you belong to, there's the power of meditation, there's the power of prayer, there's the power of holy scriptures that one can study, and that will bring you the solution to your situation.
Well, thank you very much, Pastor Barnabas, for being with us, and thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. Thank you. We hope to have you next time.
Anytime.